Mrs. the Minister, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, after these kind words of Jean-Pierre Loubinou, it is my turn to welcome you at this 12th ERTMS World Conference. And believe me, for Infrabel, it is an honor to be your host during this conference. Most of you are aware of the fact that Infrabel has been strongly supporting the ETCS issue for years, not because it is a nice to have, but because we are convinced that the ETCS is a necessity. A necessity to obtain a higher level of safety on the railway network. A necessity to come to a single European area. A necessity to modernize our assets and optimize our management through standardization and economies of scales. We indeed believe that ETCS will meet all these requirements. Moreover, we are convinced that ETCS will be necessary to reinforce the intermodal competitiveness of railway transport. That is why, dear colleagues, ETCS may not be classified merely as a safety system. No, ETCS has a much bigger impact in the functioning of the railway system. It will fundamentally change the way in which we run the system, managerial as well as operational. The perception towards ETCS has already been changed fundamentally. Thanks to the efforts of all parties involved, we have made considerable progress during the past years. The extended principle discussions seems to be left behind, and the focus has been shifted to the rollout. Finally, I would say. But, as we all know, the devil is in the details. We are still facing a number of challenges that we have to tackle fast, but also thoroughly. That is why we have to keep striving for an approach that is accepted throughout the entire sector. Strive for an approach that everybody can accept. As for myself, I see two priorities that are strategically important at this moment. In the first place, there is the need for what we could call technological stabilization. For clarity, with this I am not saying that the ETCS system and the underlying technology should not longer evolve. We only have to watch carefully that the more or less mature product we have now will not be jeopardized by adding extras which not necessarily have much to do with the essence of the system. That is why I am saying today, let us temporarily freeze the scope of ETCS developments and finish the ongoing work and focus on deployment. I am convinced that this is in the interest of all stakeholders, both infrastructure managers and railway operators, but also in the interest of the supply industry, for which it is a major challenge to have the components available in time. Dear colleague, let me be clear on this. I am not asking to ignore innovation or interconnections between the different technologies. Not am I asking to turn a blind eye. But we have to be realistic. After more than 20 years of system development, we owe it to the customers and the society to show results. And these results will only be achieved by fully focusing on the rollout. Second element, there is also the financial part of the story, the business case. And this needs to improve for all parties involved. Only when there is a certain balance between the burdens and the benefits of all individual partners, there will be a more extended support for ETCS. This is not limited to infrastructure managers or owners of rolling stock, who are both the real users of ETCS, but also the suppliers that should be able to build a solid business case. Burdens and benefits should be equally distributed between all parties involved. How will we do that? A combination of measures will be required. Amongst others, we are thinking of striving for the above-mentioned technological stability in the system, or a tight supervision of the product compatibility, but also examining alternative financing sources and co-financing are essential elements in the reinforcement of the support towards ETCS. Ladies and gentlemen, a great number of issues I just have mentioned can be reduced to the need for discipline. Discipline to only buy off the shelf, but also discipline to only offer products off the shelf. Needed as well is a stable financial framework from public authorities. This to enable all parties involved to build a viable business model. This as well is discipline. Only this way, a business case with quite a substantial investment cost and a relatively short life cycle could become positive. And then we will have our triple win. A win for the users of ERTMS, a win for the supply sector, and above all, a win for the customers and for the society, who will get a safer transport model. Dear colleagues, looking forward with these two ideas in mind, will already set us on our way. And as is the case more often, a large dose of discipline and sense of responsibility will be needed as well to bring this project to a successful conclusion. All together, we will get there. All that there is left for me to do is to wish you a pleasant and, above all, an interesting conference. I hope Brussels can be a fruitful soil for transfer of knowledge and new insights, but also beginning of new context and relation amongst us. And please, don't let work drown you here. Brussels is a beautiful and bustling city, so be sure to discover some of its treasures. Thank you very much.